everyone. Welcome to Anti-Depressing. This might sound different because I normally don't kick off our episodes, but we're feeling a different kind of vibe today. We are live here
Chanel,
at
you
the
have
YCP.
not even done the tagline.
We're live here at the YCP conference because we're here to talk about everything from liturgy to
Likes the pro.
I switched it up a little bit. That's if you're gonna let me
I like
say it,
You're right.
you gotta
You're
let me
right.
say
You're
it.
right.
It's got to be
Yeah.
different
You're
enough.
Yeah, you gotta
Yeah.
let me say it.
You guys. We never introduced ourselves and we didn't do it again.
Yeah. Okay. My name is Chanel,
Jasmine.
and our special guest.
Hi, everyone. My name's Peter.
Whoa.
This is Peter's first time on a podcast in the history of his life.
That's
So
true, yeah.
This is big moment for us. You might be asking yourself, why? Why did we pick someone who's never been on a podcast to be a guest on our show? The reason is because as of April 27th, it was the 1-year anniversary of Anti-Depressing.
Wow.
So excited. And that's today, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Like, what date is it? So we're recording this live at YCP on our 1-year anniversary. And Peter was there since the inception, the birth, the infancy of Anti-Depressing. And we're so excited to have him here to kind of chat that and his dating life.
Yeah.
Per usual.
He's
All
like,
right.
would I
I guess
rather
so.
talk
Like,
about one or
I'm
the other?
already
I
trapped
don't
in
know.
this chair.
Thank
so
you.
what
Yeah,
am I
it's
going to do?
exciting,
Say
though.
no?
I don't know.
Exactly. I'm stuck now.
Yeah.
I know.
So Jasmine, happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary, baby. Are you
So-
going to play that happy anniversary song for me?
I should. We don't have the rights for it, so I might
We
have
don't.
to sing it.
We'll put
Might
it
have
on
to
our
sing
Instagram
it.
story.
Yeah, we'll put it on our story. Yeah, that's true. That's true. So Peter, how the heck are you? We're just checking in. We'd love to check in.
Little
here.
mental health check.
Mental health check.
Yeah,
How are you
thank
doing?
you. I'm doing pretty well. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, this
Okay.
weekend at YCP has been amazing.
Love.
Getting
Love
to know
it.
you guys,
So true.
in
Love.
person has been awesome.
Love.
Yeah, I mean, back home, I'm finishing up school, so things are a little hectic, but all is well. All is well for me.
I
I love that. All is well. Thank you for the honesty. Pretty good, he said. At first, it's like, I'm not going to say everything's the best. It's like, I'm going to keep it realistic. I'm graduating college in 2 weeks and I'm job hunting. So you're in the
Yeah,
grind.
I'm on the grind. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Wow.
Still looking. But
So Peter,
I have hope.
elevator
I love
pitch
that.
yourself to our listeners.
Oh, yeah.
Because somebody out there knows
Somebody
somebody.
might be developing an app and
So-
they might need you.
Pitch yourself.
Sure. Yeah.
ahead.
All right. Well, I am graduating with a bachelor's in graphic design in a
Yeah.
couple weeks, and I've got a pretty strong background working in UI UX design, and I'm looking for just a great solid intro job, entry level into digital product design, UX design, and I love working on mobile applications. So that would be an amazing place to start for me. Yeah. So check me out on LinkedIn. I don't know.
Yeah.
Check it out.
And he is exceptional. And we know this because
He created our artwork, which
That's
is
true.
evidence of his graphic design work. But Peter, what app did you just essentially
that
create?
too. That too.
Yeah. So I am one of the co-founders of FIO,
Yeah.
Wow.
which is
Of
a
course you are.
Catholic podcast and music streaming app.
Wow.
Currently, so we just launched a few months back, our very basic version, and then we just came out with a pretty big update for the app. So right now we got over 450 Catholic podcasts, over 40
So
Catholic
cool.
specific categories. It's been super fun. It's been an amazing ride creating this brand new platform just for Catholics, for the church, and hopefully to be built by the church, by the users and the podcasters, and we want to just create something special.
Wow.
That's so beautiful. And Anti-Depressing is an original Theo show.
It
The
seems
first
like
Theo
we
original,
are.
Yeah.
if I know.
Yeah.
You guys were the very
That-
first
The very
Theo original.
first. The first conception. We birthed Theo as it birthed us. It's beautiful. It's
Transformative.
beautiful.
And I also
Mutual.
want to let all the listeners know that Jasmine
say
has
it.
not eaten lunch yet. So anything that
so
she
hungry.
says
I cannot be held accountable.
for the things that she
Scratch
says.
the
Gonna get a little
record.
wild, yeah.
But
Scratch the record if I say anything crazy. I'm hungry.
I
and
would
we're gonna eat
love
in and out.
to know, praise God, I would love to know in the past year, what has been a highlight for you
Okay.
in this antidepressant journey? And then
Such a good
Peter, I'm
question.
going to let Jasmine answer first so you can construct your answer, which is definitely
Because
meeting
you
us.
also have to talk about
Yeah, which is
what you like
definitely
We gotta
most
talk
meeting
about you
us.
guys.
But like,
Yeah.
I want, what has been like one of your
What has
highlights in
been a
this
highlight?
journey?
Oh man, I feel like just having something that we get to do together that we're passionate about has
Yeah.
been really fun. Like prior to doing the podcast, we would just kind of hang out, and live our normal life. But having something that we feel like we're doing that doesn't feel like work, but is like just a fun thing to be doing together. And then all of the people we've kind of gotten to like connect with and bring into because of it, like our circle, I feel like has widened because of having the show in the way that we've like found more Catholic people that like the same things as us, that like want to talk about pop culture, that like care about mental health, that like we've really found our people. And I think that's something in the 10, 11 years that we've known each other that we both struggled with, of like, man, I feel like when I go to Catholic stuff, it's like we are a certain type of way and there are these other people and I don't know where we fit. And I feel like through this show, we've found a lot of people that like fit, that'll listen to our stuff and be like, I felt that way before. And then we'll actually like connect and make real life friends. And so that's been really cool to find like our community, which interestingly enough was like one of the things we talked about, Peter, when we were like creating the concept for the show and the concept for the artwork was like, we want people to like listen and feel like they found their spot where like they're not judged and like this is their Catholic group that can just like be themselves. And I feel like we wanted to provide that for listeners, but we've actually gotten it in return, which has been so cool. It's really cool.
And that's a word.
What about you, baby girl?
I agree. I think mine includes Peter. So in the
wow, you didn't expect to be hyped up like this.
No, I
in the
did not.
journey of developing this show, I got mad sentimental yesterday when we were talking in the car because I was like, how cool is it to be connected to such gifted, talented people? And I was thinking about Peter sitting on Zoom and just saying, like, who is your core person? Like, what does she look like? What does he look like? Whatever. And we decided it was like a lady and that she would have this kind of job and she would look this way or she would kind of think like this. She would listen to this in the car. And I just remember doing that and being like, okay, this is like a really exceptional way of trying to put something together that obviously is not my gift and talent, which is why you're getting your degree in graphic design. But I'm like, it was just so cool. And like the fact that we were so listened to and now, a year later, there are people DMing us that are like, just like that girl that we talked to you about.
That's so true.
And they're
that's
just
great.
like that girl that are like, oh my gosh, I was listening to this on my way to blank job. And like, I was getting some coffee and I told my friend, or like I was, walking my dog and it's like, that's just like the girl that we talked about. So
like exactly
just love it.
How you helped us figure it out.
And I never would have known. I just kind of would have been like, I guess our audience is cool people, but like, it was great. It was great to be able to really like put it together. So that was one of my highlights.
I love that.
How about you, babe?
Peter, what's been your fave?
It's been my favorite anti-depressing moment.
Oh,
yeah,
yes.
Whatever you want.
During this past
Whatever
year.
you want to
During
share.
this journey.
Well, I got to say, meeting you guys for real has been amazing.
That is so sweet.
Not just because you guys are amazing people, and it's been fun to like, work with you over Zoom, but also actually hear your podcast and just listen to some episodes. But it was very fun getting in the car with you guys yesterday and realizing that you are exactly the same outside of the podcast that you are on the podcast.
Exactly the same. You are intrusive.
I felt like I was already in an anti-depressing episode.
I know, he literally was like, Jasmine, be honest, like, are we recording? I was like, no, we're just talking, but tell me about your girlfriend.
She started interviewing me right there.
That's so
Love.
sweet.
Oh
I
my
love
gosh.
that. I love that. But seriously, you guys, like, it's crazy how your brain works. And yesterday when we were in the car was the first time I realized how old you were. I did not know. I thought Peter was like at least 30. I thought he was older than us.
Because he
when we
gives
met him
mature.
over Zoom.
He gives mature.
He gives mature. He's got a mature face. He's like wise. And so when he was like asking us questions, like, okay, what's your ideal listener look like? What colors do you want? What's like things you care about? And like developing this like such cool artwork that has like donuts and a coffee cup and a monster, like all the things
and
we
it's
care
us.
about.
It's
and
us.
it's us. It's so us.
Right,
and,
that
like,
was the goal.
capturing
Yeah.
it. And I would have sworn that you were like so old. I was
So
like,
mature.
oh, we're young. And he's like,
He has like this
the expert.
experience. Yeah.
And then yesterday he's like
Thank
talking
you.
about graduating college. And I was like, wait a second. How old are you?
Graduate? College?
24. What in the world? I was like, I'm 100.
Yeah.
I'll take that as a
it's
compliment. Thank you.
amazing. So thank you for all of the work that you put into this, that you helped create, that you and Will and unseen on this screen, but Houston, who took all of our pictures, like that team of people who were with today. who helped us make it what it is. We're so thankful. And we love you. I mean, we
Aw,
like
thank you
just met
guys.
you in real life, but we'll say it.
Mm-hmm.
We'll say it
We
confidently.
get pretty
Oh, I
attached.
love this.
And since
We're
we love
pretty
you,
leechy.
could you tell the people about your girlfriend?
Yeah. Okay. So
Sure.
Peter
you.
inspired us to continue to be intrusive, and
He
we're
said the
going-
people want it.
Yeah,
He said he would listen to it.
Yeah, he would listen to it.
You said yesterday, you were like, this is a great idea. People would love that. What
To
would they
hear
love?
like love
About dating and
sessions,
stuff?
right?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
stories, right?
All right,
People would
yeah.
love to hear how they met their significant other stories.
That's
So
true.
like, and his story is pretty cute.
It's
you
giving
guys.
romance.
It
So
is pretty
like,
cute.
it's pretty cute.
I
yeah.
love telling the story.
and
yeah.
so like,
It could be a movie.
I think for those listening, in order to also just give hope to those,
That's so
um,
true.
that we should hear it.
This is we could call them anti-depressing love stories. Because that's what people need. Because
That's
love
what
stories
people
are
need.
giving depressing
They're
lately.
pretty depressing.
And so give us
Often,
So
yeah.
set us
give
up
us
with
our
it.
first anti-depressing love story.
Wow, I'm episode 1.
I know.
I
here
have
we
to-
go.
I
We're
have to-
actually
I have to
restarting.
bring you in though. Anti-depressing. Come on, sing along with me, Jasmine. Anti-depressing.
Anti-depressing
Love stories.
Love story.
Say it to us because we love to hear it because we're kind of intrusive, but we love it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was phenomenal.
Thank you so much. Okay,
All right.
we're ready.
All right. Yeah. All right. So you want to know just the story of how I met my girlfriend? Her
We
name
sure
is
do.
Yeah.
Maria.
If
We've
been
heard it and
dating.
we want to hear it again.
Yeah.
TBH.
Okay.
Okay.
So yeah, I have been dating my girlfriend for a little over 2.5 years now.
Sweet.
We met, funny enough, for the first time, like right before I asked her out, even though we grew up very close to each other. So, I grew up in a Catholic homeschooled community around the suburbs of Chicago. And she also grew up in a lot of the same circles, also Catholic and homeschooled, big family. But I actually never met her. And I think it's just crazy because like our parents knew who each other were, like some of our siblings were in the same things, but I actually never met her until there was this one day where, so there's this Catholic sports league,
Mhm.
which just a bunch of young adults come together, organized by Catholic Sports, the organization, and they had this volleyball league during the summer. And I remember I was, just sitting at home. I think it was like a Sunday, and one of my friends texted me, and he's like, "Hey, I'm a part of this league. I'm not going to be able to make the game today, but could you please substitute for me on my volleyball team?" And I thought to myself right away, I'm awful at volleyball. And like, I don't know. Like I could just sit here on a Sunday and I don't know, like I had nothing planned, but I had no reason to say no though, like no real good reason. So I was
Mhm.
like, all right, I got no reason to say no. So fine, I guess I'll do it, but I'm not going to be the person that they're asking back again, Yeah. And anyway, and I was like, all right, whatever, I'll go. And I went there thinking it would be like 12 young adults or something like that. But there were like almost 200 people there.
Oh my gosh.
And I remember I walked in and I just thought, wow, lots of young Catholics. This is awesome. I don't know like a lot of the people here. I didn't really know most of the people on my team or the team I was subbing on. Yeah. And then I remember I was like looking around and my eyes landed on Maria. And I thought, wow, she's attractive. And then I was like, all right, Peter, let's go find my team. Like, don't get distracted.
Focus.
Focus.
It's time to get your head in the game, Peter.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Fake right and fake left,
There it is.
Yeah.
and then, yeah, I was like, all right, I'm going to go, find my team. I went and found them, met them all for the first time, pretty much. And yeah, as we started warming up, one of them was like, hey, we gotta get a couple more substitutes on our team because we don't have enough. Nobody showed up. And then I see them coming over with a couple people who had decided to join the team, and one of them is her. And I thought to myself, oh, wow, what are the chances that the girl that my eyes, clicked to right away, I was like, oh my gosh, she's going to be on my team. So I'm going to get to know her a little bit. And I thought this is a great opportunity to at least, break the ice, start something. And then we played volleyball and she was amazing. She's very good at volleyball and I'm not. So I thought, there goes my chance.
You embarrassed yourself.
But anyway, after the game, I was just thinking like, all right, maybe I'll give the second season a shot, because that was like I think it was like the last weekend of that season. So the next season started, and I was secretly hoping that she'd be playing again, because then I would, want to get to know her better. And she was not on my team, on a different team, but I got to play, and it was a whole lot of fun. And then this one weekend, so there were a couple weekends where I remember I was just like, I couldn't stop thinking about her, took it to prayer, decided, okay, I'm going to ask her out, because there's no reason not to. It was a very clear, like, this is something I have to do. It was like an action moment in my life. And the Lord was making that clear as well. So I decided, okay, I don't know what it's going to end up as, but I'm going to do it at least.
Word.
And then I also had a drink with a few friends of mine and told them about her, just to get their input after I had already decided to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But then they were all like, you have to do it.
It's necessary.
I was thinking to myself, like, okay, I'll ask her out at some point this season. I'll get to know her slowly throughout the season,
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, no. When are you going to see her next? Next weekend. You're going to play her team in this league. So you're going to ask her out then. And so they challenged me to do that. And I thought, all right, I'm not going to shy away from that. So
men challenging men.
It was
There
great.
is.
Mhm.
Iron sharpens
Yeah.
iron.
I even had a
There it
guy
is.
who said, if you don't ask her out, you owe me $20.
There it is.
Which I
Once
love.
money's on the line.
Yeah, exactly.
We're not going to mess around with
And
$20. He said, I'm
Maria-
in college.
When I'm a broke
He
college
wanted
kid.
to go out with you. Like
He did.
wanted to go out with
But
you.
he also needed that $20.
So
Let's
yeah.
Just an extra, kick in
let's
the
be
butt.
honest. Good point.
No, but it was funny. And then, that day I we played their team. Game was good. I got really nervous, and I was trying to think the entire time. I was more focused on how I was going to ask her out
Mm-hmm.
than the game. So I wasn't playing great or anything, but I remember I was just thinking a lot about, okay, what do I do? What do I say? How do I make this natural? Because I didn't want to make it unnatural.
Yeah.
And I had this whole plan of just like naturally starting small talk,
Mhm.
trying to build some rapport, and then eventually
Fair.
getting to the question,
Love.
which I just thought would just be less, abrasive.
Yeah.
And the game ends, and right away, her sister's like, hey, we got to go. We're late for something. And then I see her like say like, hey, I got to grab something from the car, and she runs off. And so I'm thinking to myself like, oh no. If I'm going to do this today, I gotta go, when she comes back, I gotta like catch her right then
Yeah.
and ask her out, or else, I'm going to miss my chance. But I'm going to do it today because I told myself I would, so
Yeah.
I have to. And so I make my way over towards where I know she has to pass again, strike up a conversation with one of her teammates, and then I'm just watching out of the corner of my eye. I see her run back up, and then right as she gets there, she tosses the keys to the person that gave her the keys, and then she just takes off running right back to the parking lot. And I was thinking like, oh, if I don't start running now, I'm not going to catch her. She was like,
It's like
running
the
full
line
speed. Yeah.
between romantic pursuit and like
scary.
creepy is so thin in this
A little
story.
bit, yeah, a little bit.
So thin.
But I was just like, well, I have to ask her out. So I said, hey, I got to go, broke off the conversation I was in, and I ran after her. And she was running pretty fast though. So I didn't think I was going to catch her. And I was like, all right, what's her name? I think her name was Maria. So I yelled out her name, and she stopped. Praise God. Turned around, and I caught up, and I was like, all right, I could make this go a couple ways. I could either like, make this take a while, and she's going to get annoyed because she's late
Mhm.
and probably say no, or I could just be very to the point, and get her on her way, and just make it happen. So I just said, I don't know if you remember me, but we played a couple weeks ago. It's when we met. I just want to say, I think you're beautiful, and I want to take you to dinner.
And that is a word, ladies listening.
That's all you need to say.
Did your heart
That is
just
all you need to
Did your heart just pitter patter as you're driving to work? Yeah. That's what I thought too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Time stopped.
Raise the bar, ladies. Okay, go ahead.
I mean, if you're gonna ask anyone out, that's the way to do it,
Whoop.
There it is. Oh,
Yep.
you heard that, fellas.
You heard that here.
in my opinion. Yeah.
Yep.
And yeah, so then she was like, yeah, put her number in my phone, and then she ran off. And a couple of days later, I planned a great first date, and it went amazing.
So sweet.
Second date, even better. It was just one of those things where we just clicked right away, and the rest is history. It's been amazing.
So
And you guys,
sweet.
she is cute. She
She's
is
so
so cute.
cute.
Yeah, I think she's pretty cute.
She's so cute.
As you should.
As
Yeah.
you should.
As you should.
Yeah, that was a
and
test.
They're long distance.
She was amazing. She is amazing.
And doing great. So
Yeah.
it's amazing.
Yeah.
What
2.5
a
years
word.
in.
But also, like, I think listening to this for a second time, which has been a gift all over again, to me, it's like you all of a sudden were like, oh, I need to like really, it needs to be now that I ask her out. And like your boys challenged you. And what a gift that timing was, because a few weeks later is when she was leaving to go to school in Florida.
Right, and I didn't know
So-
any of this. I didn't know her at all.
So like you might not have
Yeah.
had the opportunity again if you wouldn't have like felt that fire of like, oh, I need to chase her
Right.
and go talk to her now. And like, what providence
Yeah.
in that? Because it could have just like, you could have missed your chance and then be like, oh, didn't see her
I think
again.
it's one of those classic
that's it.
moments of God's plan versus my plan.
Yes.
Because my plan was, we're going to draw this out.
See
We're
how
going to
it
make it
works
as
out.
natural as possible
Mm-hmm.
and as, unintrusive as possible. Get to know her slowly, and then eventually ask her out once we have, a good rapport, and I can tell she's interested, but that was not God's plan.
Yeah.
God was
He
like,
was
"I
like, no, you're
promise you,
gonna
babe,
do
you
this.
You actually need to
You're gonna
go.
do
It's
this
gonna be
now,
okay."
because if you don't do it now, your plan's not gonna happen because
That's
she's gonna
it.
leave.
Will
That's
not
it.
work.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I would not have known that, right?
Mhm.
She would have
Wow.
just disappeared, and I would have, not seen her
Oof.
again for a while.
And like our friend Alessandra said, men are truly like avocados. When they're ripe and they're ready to go,
You gotta cut into
you
that.
gotta
right
cut
away.
into it when it's
You
ripe.
cannot wait.
then you're getting
That is like
you're getting
so
a black
funny.
you're getting like
So
a
true.
gross like brownish blackish one on the
Uh-huh. Or it
inside, just
doesn't
mushy,
cut. Like you
or it just
have the
doesn't
perfect
cut,
day.
right? It's just
It's
like
so true.
You missed it.
Yeah, and I feel like the theme of recording these episodes right now about relationships has been like, if you want to pursue someone, like
Do it.
you got to just
Do
full
it.
send. Like you got to do it because you don't know how much time you have with them there. You don't know like what the next moment will be. Like it is always the right moment to like put yourself out there and like pursue somebody. Like it's
Absolutely.
always a good choice.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
a word.
I also think that, a lot of men out there try to reduce the risk as much as possible, which I was tempted to do, right? I was tempted to draw it out, reduce the
Yeah.
risk, because you're reducing the risk by getting to know her better.
Mhm.
And then if you can start getting those signals that she likes you back, then all of a sudden, the risk is greatly reduced, and you're not, probably going to feel the pain that you would otherwise if you just gone for it.
The rejection.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's
It's a
really
hard
what
one.
is the cause of that, right?
Mm.
Is the
Such a
fear
good
of
point.
rejection. And I didn't realize that that's why I wanted to do that, why I wanted to ease into it.
Mm.
I think part of it was just that fear of rejection. And so just ripping the Band-Aid off
Yeah.
and just being really direct, having that action moment, I had to, I couldn't allow myself to do that,
Yeah.
which I think was just another learning moment for me. And now I always try to advise any dudes that
Just do it.
yeah, or
Just
like,
full send.
whenever we're
Swoosh.
talking about just like asking girls out or anything, it's like, no, just do it.
It's just the right
And
time.
my advice for men,
Say
don't
it.
overthink it,
Oh,
because guys will do that. They'll project ahead and overthink things. Also, for women, if you think you are flirting enough or like making it obvious that you're interested or something, you're not. Just do it more, because guys will probably not notice as much as you think they would notice.
Yes.
I thought I was very perceptive when I was younger, but I realize now that I really wasn't.
Yeah.
Just I think there's a bit of a disconnect there a lot of the times where like women will just be like, oh, well, like, I thought I made it really obvious. He didn't make a move, and then the guy will be like, what?
Like-
I didn't see anything. What? Like what?
Mm.
So that would be my advice there.
That's
Wow.
good advice on both ends. I have a question that we don't know about you yet.
Mhm.
Did your girlfriend have any first impressions of you? Because I know you
Mm.
saw her like
Yes.
across the court, and she was stunning and amazing. Outside of her being like,
She
you were
was.
horrible at volleyball,
She
What
did
were
think that
Okay, that was her first impression. Great.
you are horrible at volleyball.
Why is this man here?
Romance is alive. Romance is
And then, yeah, I mean, she wasn't like thinking about me the whole time. I was thinking about her. But
Mm.
then that game that we played each other's teams, I told you I was very nervous. I was very, very
Yes.
anxious. And I was just thinking about how am I going to ask this woman out at the end of this game.
Mm-hmm.
And she told me that she noticed I started like looking at her more often and stuff. And she was like, this is
She
getting
could
weird.
catch the glances. Here's the thing.
And I did not realize that I was being
Yeah.
weird.
The interesting thing is, to what you're saying, like for ladies, like, hey, men don't really pick up on hints. You got to keep looking. If she would have been looking at you a bunch, you might not have picked up on it. Ladies
Probably not.
pick up on the stuff, fellas. So you're not like being sly. This whole like, I'm going to wait it out game. And if you would have waited a couple more weeks, she would have been like, he's either plotting my murder or he's really into me, but does not have enough like boldness to just say it. And it's getting old. Like
Yeah.
it's exhausting.
Right.
It's like, so fellas, if you're into a girl, we probably already know, but like, you have to say it. Like, so say it,
Absolutely.
Because she probably was getting to the point where she was like, all right, you're either going to look at me and ask me out or you're going to stop looking at me. Like, pick a side. Pick a side.
Right.
Wow. Look
No,
at
I think
God.
she said that. She was like, I have a feeling this guy's going to ask me out. But
She knows. She also, I mean, look, she knows.
she
She knows. Who's she kidding?
She knows
Who's she
how-
kidding?
yes.
She knows she gets it. What?
My flight was delayed a little bit.
Ooh, what a
10
gift.
minutes.
Oh, no.
Oh, 10 minutes.
10 minutes. Okay.
Was
not too
that
bad.
worth it? Was that worth the enough?
I just got a vibration on my leg and I just got kind of scared. I thought it
Got
was
a
an
little
emergency.
stressed.
You know, I'm
Got a
living
little
with
stressed.
anxiety. But your story gives so much hope
It
because
does give a lot of
you and
hope.
Maria are so cute. And it's just
You
nice,
are.
like I said in the car yesterday, it's nice to hear about young people that are just out
Mhm.
here trying to, you know, just be in a healthy, wholesome relationship, be in
So
love,
sweet.
support each other, and have gifts and talents that are just like serving the church and the world in
Yeah.
a beautiful
Yeah.
way.
Such a
And like
gift.
you were telling
Mhm.
us about her and the things, the niche things that she's into, and that's awesome and
So cool.
quite literally world changing.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
the things that you're into and they're like your creativity and the way that your brain works. I mean,
Yeah.
just to have those forces together. God
Yeah.
bless it.
And
really is.
I love talking about her and talking about, how we met. And yeah, I think it's amazing. And to anyone out there, long distance is absolutely worth it. If it's for the right
Mhm.
person, it's hard, but do it. If that person is amazing, then do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you
That's
did
beautiful.
some long distance.
We
for a few
did that.
years.
Yep. The whole time we dated until we were engaged and almost married. Yep.
Yeah.
Did it. It's worth it for the right person. I think Will, who is right there also, the
He
long
did, like,
distancy of
cross-
distances
Oh, yeah.
across
Very
across
long.
the pond.
Yeah.
And I think really like if it is the right person, you will do anything to be with that person. And like for the rest of your life, you're going to do anything to be with that person through like the chaos of life, through whatever throws it at like life throws at you, through whatever like challenges you have, you're going to make it together like with the power of Christ. And so like long distance is no exception to that. And to, if anything, I feel like it kind of set us up to know like, oh, we can like really make it through whatever. And our
Yeah.
communication is going to be so strong because it's all we have. Like,
Right.
we can't just kick it on the couch.
Right.
Like we are just
That's
talking all day.
You can't just ignore somebody because you're like, I gotta
Exactly.
call
Yeah,
him.
like
Yeah.
we have to be on the phone.
Gotta talk about
and
it.
we have
Exactly.
to work through our issues because what are we going to do? Just like walk in the other room? No, you're like on the phone.
Exactly.
You know, like you're
Yeah.
going to work through it.
Yeah.
And so I think that there's beauty in it for sure.
Yeah. No, that's so true. I think there are perks, like you just said, to
Yeah.
long distance, and because it strengthens the talking muscle in the relationship
So
a lot.
true.
Working through things
Like
verbally.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's honestly, it can be a blessing in some
Mhm.
ways because of that, even though it's incredibly hard.
Super
And I
hard.
would much rather her be in person, right?
Wouldn't
but-
you though? Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think it's allowed us to really practice the talking things out
Mm.
side.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Man. Wow.
Thanks for asking
Beautiful.
questions.
Oh my
about,
gosh.
about us.
What?
and
Peter,
about
Oh
her.
my gosh.
Thank
Peter,
you
thank
for
answering
answering.
questions. What are
Of
you
She
course.
sounds like a doll. So, and she
so sweet.
She
quite
is.
literally looks like one. It's like, she is so cute. And so,
So
we are honored that you would share about her.
Yes, thank you.
And we are
Of course.
honored that you
So
have
open.
given us your gifts and talents in such a way
Yes.
that like we have a dope like art style surrounding our
you made
podcast.
us who we are
Yeah.
in a lot of ways. And
in
I
a
think
lot of ways.
that is like the power of finding people to collaborate with, business wise, and just friendships of people who will just get you and like respect you for who you are. Because I think there's a lot of people that we could have worked with that would have been like, okay, yeah, you are like a Catholic girl podcast, so it's gonna be like very floral
Yeah.
and very
Very
light and
floral.
very pastel. Like it's gonna be very
Sure,
like. And Chanel was like, we want neon, we want bright, we want 70s. And
Make
I was
it
like,
retro. Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
like, and that isn't like not everybody would have captured the aesthetic. And so I appreciate so much about you that in that way and just in other areas of life that you're just willing to kind of see and meet someone for where they are, which if you're somebody who wants to hire Peter, this is such a good nod in his direction. Like he
Do
will
it.
take your creative vision and actually like respect it and honor it, which I think is such a gift in like a friend and a professional
I appreciate
collaborator.
that. Yeah, I mean that's the goal, right? If you're in any sort of design, oftentimes the real goal of what you're doing is you're translating what your client wants. And I'll say like you guys, your art style, your podcast cover, the logo, the illustrations and stuff. That's actually that's not really my style. That's not something that comes super naturally to me. And I would say it was more difficult than I expected because I was trying to figure out like, how do I capture the energy that you guys have together and all the notes that we took during that one strategy meeting. How do I capture all that together? And I went through so many different color palettes and so many different like, font choices and just like illustration styles. And what I ended up with was probably like iteration 5 or something like that.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm so glad you guys are happy with it. But
We love.
yeah, I think that that's really what it has to be anchored on is like doing something that reflects you guys, not, what I want to design. Like you said, yeah. So thank you for those kind words.
Of
Oh,
course,
yeah.
of course.
It's all love here at Anti-Depressing. It's all love here on Fio. Cut out this little clip. It's love here on
It's
Fio.
love here on Fio.
We love it.
We love a Fio moment.
Yeah, and it's just all love. It's great to be surrounded by people that are great. It's a
Yes.
gift. It's an honor. It's a blessing. It's a blah blah blah. Fill in the blank. Synonym.
Everything.
We are just so happy that you could rock with us today here live at the YCP conference.
Woo.
We are here.
And to our listeners,
and
thank
to
you
our
for
listeners.
being here for a year
1
or whatever
year.
part of that year you were here.
Thank you for the DMs. Thank you for telling us you listen to the show in person. Thank
So
you
cute.
for telling your friends about it.
Yeah.
Thank you for just like liking what we do enough to where you comment on our Instagram posts,
know.
where you like,
Mhm.
it's just really cool. It's really cool that people
Yeah.
It's
listen.
amazing. Yeah.
And every time Jasmine and I are like, wow, you actually listen to that? Like, that's cool.
That's so crazy.
That's
We're
so
just
cool.
like talking.
Yeah.
It's very surreal. So
It
thank
is.
you. We love you guys. We love Peter.
Yeah.
We love
Thank you
love.
guys.
Yep. And
And
the
that's the
world
thing.
is depressing,
But
but we are not. Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.